The sky above the crater was dark, heavy with smoke. The wind carried the smell of ash and burnt earth. A silence hung over the land, thick and deep, as if the world itself was holding its breath. In the center of the crater lay a legendary dragon, its scales dull, its wings folded awkwardly at its sides. Once, its fire had burned hotter than the sun, lighting up skies and scorching mountains. Now it barely flickered, a faint orange glow in tired eyes. The dragon let out a low, trembling growl, more of a sigh than a roar. Its head drooped, resting on the cracked, blackened stones. It had survived wars, storms, and the hatred of humans, but time had finally caught up. Each breath felt like it could be its last. A wind gusted, and a few charred leaves swirled around, falling over its massive body like fragile confetti. For a creature that had once been feared and revered, the world had forgotten it. But something stirred nearby. A small figure approached cautiously through the haze, moving faster than curiosity alone could drive him. The boy's name was Eli, barely 12, with tousled hair and eyes wide with wonder. He had grown up hearing stories of dragons from his grandmother. Stories of fire, wisdom, and ancient magic. The villagers laughed at him when he spoke of dragons. They said dragons were myths, dangerous beasts, or just stories to scare children. But Eli knew better. He had seen signs. Scorched stones in the forest, deep claw marks along cliffs, and footprints too large for any ordinary creature. And now, here it was, the dragon from the stories, old and tired, lying in the crater. Eli's heart pounded in his chest. His hands shook slightly, not from fear alone, but from awe. The dragon's eyes flickered open, revealing golden irises that glimmered even in weakness. It lifted its head slightly, observing him with a gaze that seemed to weigh every thought, every intention. Eli froze, unsure if his presence was welcome or if he would become the last victim of this dying legend. The dragon's voice, though not loud, echoed in Eli's mind. "Why are you here, human child?" Eli swallowed. He had not expected a voice, not like this. I want to help," he said, his voice barely more than a whisper. "You don't have to die alone." The dragon's breath came in short, painful bursts. Smoke curled from its nostrils, and the edges of its wings shivered. "Many have tried and many have failed. Why should I believe you?" Eli stepped closer, his small feet crunching on the blackened stones. "Because I don't want to see you die. Not like this." He paused. "Not if I can do anything to help." For a moment silence returned. The dragon's gaze softened ever so slightly, studying the boy. It had been centuries since a human had approached without fear, greed, or hate. Eli's courage surprised it, and curiosity sparked faintly in its tired mind. Could this tiny human really hold the power to change fate? The wind shifted suddenly, carrying distant sounds, shouts, the pounding of boots. Hunters, humans who believed dragons were monsters, who would see this one dead without hesitation. Eli's eyes widened. "We have to move," he urged. "They're coming." The dragon growled, a sound that rumbled through the crater like distant thunder. Its wings twitched. Pain shot through them, but instinct kicked in. It had to rise, even if only for a moment. "I am weak," the dragon admitted. "I cannot fly far." Eli nodded quickly. "I'll help. We'll find a way." He looked around and noticed a rocky outcrop not far from the crater. If they could reach it, the dragon could rest and maybe regain some strength. But it was a dangerous path, and the hunters were drawing closer. The dragon shifted, lifting its massive body painfully. Each movement caused the ground to quake slightly, and a faint hiss escaped its mouth as old bones protested. Eli held his ground, placing a hand gently on the dragon's scaled neck. "I'm here," he whispered. "I won't let anything happen to you." A faint spark flickered in the dragon's eyes. It had been centuries since it had felt this trust, and somehow it knew this human boy would not betray it. The dragon let out a slow, deliberate breath, smoke curling upward in a fragile dance. "Very well," it said. "Hold on, little human." Eli's small hands gripped the dragon's thick scales. He could feel the heat, faint but real, seeping through. The dragon lowered itself slightly, allowing Eli to climb onto its back. The weight was enormous, pressing against the boy, but he refused to panic. If the dragon could move, so could he. The hunters' shouts grew louder, echoing through the valley. Eli could see their torches flickering in the distance. Fear prickled at him, but determination burned brighter. He whispered to the dragon, "We have to make it, together." The dragon's wings stretched, cracking painfully. Dust and small stones tumbled as it tried to lift off. Its body shuddered, muscles protesting centuries of wear. But slowly, painfully, it rose. The air whistled past them as the dragon strained to climb higher. Eli clung tightly, feeling the vibration through the dragon's back. Below, the hunters gasped in shock. "The dragon! It's alive!" one shouted. "It's carrying the boy!" The dragon's fire flickered in its throat, a warning. Eli could feel the tension. Every movement mattered. One wrong turn and they could fall, and the dragon could die before it truly had a chance. Higher and higher they climbed, the wind whipping around them. The dragon let out a roar, not loud, but filled with pain, defiance, and ancient power. The hunters stopped for a moment, staring at the spectacle. They had expected a corpse, not this display of strength and courage. Eli's heart raced. "You can do it!" he shouted, gripping tightly. "Just a little more." The dragon's wings beat harder, every flap a battle against time and injury. Its eyes met Eli's, and for the first time in centuries, it felt something it had thought lost forever: hope. If this boy could believe in it, maybe the world could believe too. Finally, with a last monumental effort, the dragon cleared the rim of the crater. The hunters' shouts faded below, replaced by the roaring wind. For a moment, the dragon and the boy were alone, high above the world, their silhouettes cut against the burning orange sky of sunset. The dragon exhaled, smoke curling from its nostrils. "You saved me," it whispered, voice low but steady. "I did not think this day would come." Eli's chest heaved. "We saved each other," he replied, looking down at the world that seemed smaller from this height. "You're not alone anymore." A silence fell again, but this one was different. It was not the silence of death, but of something reborn. The dragon's fire flickered brighter, tentative at first, then stronger. The boy smiled, feeling a warmth he could not explain. Below them, the hunters regrouped, but for now, they were far away. Above, the sky stretched endless and vast. The dragon and the boy hovered between worlds, both unsure of the future, but certain of one truth: this was not the end. Not yet. And somewhere deep in the dragon's heart, an ember sparked. The last breath of fire had not faded. It had found a new flame, one born of courage, trust, and the unlikeliest of friendships. The dragon's wings beat slowly, laboriously, carrying both itself and Eli above jagged cliffs and dark forests. Each movement sent tremors through the air, yet Eli held tight, his small hands gripping the scales beneath him. His heart raced, not from fear, but from exhilaration. He had never imagined he would ride a real dragon, one whose fire had once lit the skies. And yet, the dragon was weak, its breath shallow, each beat of its wings a struggle against time itself. Eli stole a glance at the dragon. Its golden eyes, though tired, glimmered with a faint light. The dragon's massive tail swung lazily behind them, brushing against clouds of ash. "You're strong," Eli whispered. "I know you can make it." The dragon's ears flicked, as if acknowledging the words. Below them, the world stretched wide. Forests that had survived centuries now looked tiny from above. Rivers glittered like silver threads. Mountains rose like jagged teeth. But this beauty was not for long. The sound of pursuit carried through the air. A small group of hunters, relentless and angry, who refused to let a dragon live. Their torches flickered like stars below, tiny against the darkening landscape. Eli's mind raced. He had to think fast. The dragon was slow, exhausted. If they could not find a safe place soon, both of them would fall into enemy hands. And if that happened, the dragon's life, already fragile, would be gone forever. The boy closed his eyes for a moment, recalling the lessons his grandmother had taught him. She had always said courage was not the absence of fear, but the choice to act in spite of it. And here he was, facing death on the back of a dying dragon, yet unwilling to turn away. He opened his eyes, determination burning brighter than any fear. "Hold on," he said softly. "I'm not leaving you." The dragon tilted its massive head, sensing the boy's resolve. It had survived centuries alone, but there was something in this human, something rare, almost forgotten, that called to it. It shifted its wings, feeling the strength return slowly. "You are brave, little human," the dragon said, its voice deep and resonant, vibrating through Eli's chest. "Most would have run." Eli shook his head. "I could never run. Not from you." He glanced at the horizon. There, a dense forest offered some shelter, but the terrain below was uneven, filled with cliffs and rivers that could break a dragon's fall. They needed a landing, and they needed it soon. The dragon nodded slowly, adjusting its course. Its wings beat harder now, stronger than a moment ago, carrying them toward the forest. But danger lurked in every shadow. A sudden crack of thunder startled them both, though the sky remained clear. Eli's stomach flipped as the dragon wavered in the air. "It's okay," he murmured, gripping tighter. "I've got you." Below, the hunters had split into smaller groups, trying to cut off their path. Eli noticed their patterns, their intent. He pointed down with a small, shaking finger. "Look, they're trying to trap us between the cliffs." The dragon growled low, a rumbling vibration that shook the air. "I see them. We must be clever, or we will fall into their hands." It banked sharply, narrowly avoiding a jagged rock face, and Eli nearly lost his balance. "Hold on!" the dragon bellowed, its wings flaring wide. Eli's mind worked quickly. He had spent years exploring caves and climbing cliffs in his village, learning how to navigate difficult paths. Maybe he could guide the dragon using these skills. "Turn left," he shouted, pointing toward a narrow gorge hidden by mist. "There. They won't see us." The dragon tilted mid-air, trusting the boy's instincts. The hunters below cursed, their torches casting wild shadows as they realized they were losing ground. Eli felt a thrill, half fear, half joy. He could help the dragon, and maybe, just maybe, they would survive. As they flew through the gorge, the dragon's wings brushed against the rocky walls, sending small stones tumbling into the shadows below. The sound echoed like distant cannon fire. Eli clutched the dragon tighter, feeling the tremors of each movement. "You're doing great," he whispered, trying to calm both himself and the dragon. A sudden movement in the trees caught Eli's eye. Something darker than shadow, moving faster than the wind. He squinted, heart skipping. "Wait, hunters!" he cried. But as the dragon twisted mid-flight to avoid the next cliff, Eli realized the danger was not just from humans. Predators in the forest, sensing weakness, were stirring below, drawn by the dragon's scent. The dragon sensed it too. "The forest is not safe," it rumbled, fire flickering faintly from its throat. "We must reach higher ground." It shifted its massive wings, the effort causing a low, painful groan. Eli felt the strain, yet he refused to show it. "You can do it," he shouted. "We're almost there." Memories of his village, of his grandmother's stories, fueled him. She had always told him that true courage is quiet, patient, and persistent. "I've got you," he repeated over and over, as if the words themselves were a spell. The dragon's wings beat faster, lifted by the boy's determination as much as its own ancient strength. Finally, they reached the top of a cliff overlooking a hidden valley. Trees stretched wide, offering cover, and a river curved lazily through the green. The dragon exhaled, smoke curling from its nostrils. Its wings trembled from the effort, but it had made it. "You are remarkable, little human," it said, lowering itself gently to the ground. Eli scrambled to his feet on the dragon's back, feeling a mix of relief and excitement. Eli looked around, heart still racing. "We're safe for now," he said. But even as he spoke, he noticed faint tracks in the dirt. Human tracks, moving cautiously, trying not to reveal themselves. The hunters had not given up. They were patient, clever, and ruthless. The dragon growled, smoke rising from its nostrils. They follow, but they do not understand. Yet, its voice carried both warning and admiration. "You have courage few humans possess. You give me hope." Eli smiled, though his hands were still trembling. "I can't let anyone hurt you, not after everything you've done." He glanced down at the dragon's powerful legs and tired wings. "We have to get you stronger, heal you, then we can fight back if we must." The dragon lowered its head to Eli's level. Its eyes glimmered, warm and golden, despite the weariness. "You are different from the rest. I sense it. You will be the one to change the fate of dragons. And humans too." Eli felt a strange shiver run through him. He was just a boy. How could he change the fate of dragons? But he had already done the impossible once. Approached a dying dragon without fear, guided it through the cliffs, and survived. Maybe, just maybe, the dragon was right. The sun dipped lower, painting the valley in shades of gold and red. Shadows stretched across the forest floor, hiding dangers and opportunities alike. Eli climbed down from the dragon's back and helped it settle among the trees. He searched the area carefully, looking for anything that could aid the dragon. Water, soft ground, cover from the hunters. The dragon's fire flickered faintly, almost imperceptibly, like a candle struggling in the wind. Eli knelt beside it, pressing a hand gently against the warm scales. "Rest now," he whispered. "We've made it this far. Tomorrow we'll be stronger." But even as he spoke, a sense of unease settled over him. The hunters would not give up, and there were other dangers he could not yet see. Creatures of the forest, natural traps, and secrets hidden in the shadows. He glanced up at the fading sky, determination hardening in his chest. Whatever came next, he would face it. The dragon had survived centuries, and with him by its side, perhaps they could survive much more. For now, though, silence reigned. The dragon's heavy breathing mixed with the rustle of leaves and distant calls of night birds. The boy's courage, quiet and steadfast, had carried them this far. And deep down, Eli knew this was only the beginning. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new dangers, but also new possibilities. The dragon's life, nearly ended, now had a chance to continue. And the boy, small and underestimated, was becoming something greater than he had ever imagined. Together, they had faced the first trial and survived. And that survival was only the start of their story. The wind tore past Eli's face as the dragon strained against gravity, lifting from the hidden valley. Its wings, once magnificent and strong, now trembled with every beat, muscles aching from centuries of wear. Yet the boy held on, gripping the dragon's scales with small, steady hands, his heart pounding with a mix of fear and awe. Below, the forest blurred into a dark green canvas, rivers glinting faintly like silver threads under the setting sun. The hunters were not far behind. Their torches flickered through the trees, tiny yet determined. They had tracked the dragon for days, following every trace, every sign of movement. To them, dragons were monsters, creatures that could not be allowed to exist. And now, one so legendary, carrying a human child, had appeared before them, a prize they were desperate to claim. Eli leaned forward, whispering to the dragon, "We can't go back. Keep climbing. Higher." The dragon obeyed, its wings flaring with effort. Each beat carried them higher, but each beat also drew painful groans from the dragon's body. Its old bones protested, its strength waning. Still, it rose, driven not only by instinct but by a quiet spark of trust in the boy atop its back. The forest below became a tangle of shadows, hiding the hunter's movements. Eli's sharp eyes noticed their strategies. Small groups splitting, trying to circle the dragon's path. "They're trying to trap us," he shouted, pointing toward a narrowing gorge between two cliffs. "We can fly through there. They won't fit." The dragon's head tilted, golden eyes assessing the path. "It is narrow," it said, "but your mind is clever, little human. Lead and I will follow." Its wings stretched wide, brushing against the clouds, and Eli leaned forward, directing it carefully through the rocky maze. The gorge was treacherous. Jagged cliffs rose on either side, dark and unforgiving. One wrong move, and they could plummet into the canyon below, their bodies shattered on the stones. Yet Eli's fear did not control him. He remembered every lesson from climbing in the forest near his village: the careful steps, the patience, the ability to anticipate danger. Now he applied it in the air, guiding the dragon with precise words and gestures. "Left!" he shouted as a rock face jutted toward them. "Now up!" The dragon banked sharply, wings straining, and narrowly avoided collision. Dust and small stones tumbled into the gorge, echoing like thunder. The hunters below cursed and shouted, unable to follow through the narrow path. Their torches cast long, flickering shadows, but they were powerless to stop the dragon. Eli's chest heaved with adrenaline, but he did not falter. He had a purpose, and that purpose gave him strength beyond his small size. The dragon's wings flapped harder, muscles screaming, but it followed his directions, trusting the boy completely. "We're almost clear," Eli said, gripping tightly. "Just a little further." A sudden movement caught Eli's eye. Something faster than the hunters, darker than shadow. Predators of the forest, sensing weakness, were stirring. The dragon growled low, a deep rumble that vibrated through Eli's bones. "The forest is not safe," the dragon said. "We are not just hunted by humans." Eli's mind raced. "Then we need speed." "Faster!" he shouted, urging the dragon to push beyond its limits. The dragon's wings flared, catching a strong gust of wind. Their combined momentum carried them past jagged cliffs and twisted trees. The hunters below struggled to keep up, trapped by the terrain, their shouts fading into the wind. But the forest itself was not done. Branches whipped against them, sharp and swift. Birds scattered in fear, flocks rising to the sky like sudden storms. The dragon's wings collided with a few overhanging branches, sending small splinters flying. Eli's hands burned from gripping the scales, but he did not let go. He leaned into the wind, whispering, "You can do this. We can do this." For a moment silence fell. The valley below was empty, the hunters left behind. Yet the sense of danger lingered in the air. Eli noticed clouds gathering in the distance, dark and heavy. Rain could slow them, make the dragon's flight more dangerous. But he did not hesitate. "We must reach the ridge," he said. "It's our only safe place before nightfall." The dragon angled its body, wings flaring, and lifted higher. Its fire, once a faint flicker, glowed slightly stronger, fueled by the boy's courage and determination. "You give me strength," the dragon said quietly. "A flame I thought lost has returned." Eli smiled despite the wind whipping against him. "We give each other strength," he said. "Together, we can survive this." But danger was not yet gone. From the shadows below, a larger, faster figure emerged. One of the hunters, riding a mechanical contraption designed to chase flying creatures. Its sharp edges glinted in the dying sunlight, and a strange hum filled the air. Eli's heart skipped. "It's faster than the rest," he shouted. The dragon growled, wings flaring in warning. "It is a trap," it said. "Prepare yourself, little human. We may need more than speed." Eli's hands tightened on the scales. Fear pricked at him, but he refused to falter. "I'm ready," he said. "We can face it together." The mechanical hunter lunged through the air, aiming to strike. The dragon twisted mid-flight, narrowly avoiding the attack. Sparks flew from the machine as it collided with a rock face, giving them a brief advantage. "Quick! Through the canyon!" Eli shouted, pointing toward a narrow gap between cliffs barely wide enough for the dragon. With a powerful beat of its wings, the dragon surged forward, twisting and dodging with precision. Rocks scraped against its scales, and Eli's teeth clenched, but they passed through safely. The mechanical hunter could not follow, It crashed against the cliffs, sparks and smoke rising into the air. Eli exhaled in relief, though his heart still raced. They emerged from the canyon into open sky. The dragon's wings flared wide, lifting them higher. Below, the forest stretched endlessly, now quiet, with only the distant hunters left far behind. Eli looked at the dragon, golden eyes glimmering with gratitude and pride. "We made it," he whispered. The dragon's fire flickered stronger, warmth spreading through the air. "You are brave, little human," it said. "Your courage has carried us further than I believed possible. I would have fallen long ago without you." Eli smiled, feeling a warmth that had nothing to do with the dragon's fire. "And you saved me too," he said. "You didn't give up, even when you were weak. That's bravery too." For a moment, they flew together in silence, the sky wide and endless, carrying them away from immediate danger. Yet both knew this was only temporary. The hunters would not give up, and the forest held other dangers yet unseen. The dragon's body was still weak, and Eli was still just a boy. But together they had survived the first chase, and that survival had forged a bond stronger than either had expected. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the clouds in shades of fire and gold. The dragon's wings carried them higher, and Eli's mind whirled with thoughts of what lay ahead. They would need rest, food, water, and safety, but they had survived the shadows. And for now, that was enough. Above them, the wind roared like a living thing, carrying whispers of future challenges. Eli's hands clenched the dragon's scales, determination burning brighter than ever. They had faced death once and won. Together, they could face whatever came next. And somewhere deep in the dragon's heart, the ember of hope burned brighter. The boy's courage had not only saved its life but rekindled a fire that would not die. And Eli, small and brave, had discovered a courage within himself he had never known. The chase was over for now, but the story was only beginning. The dragon hovered above a secluded valley, its massive wings slowly folding as exhaustion weighed on its body. Below, a thick canopy of trees stretched like a green ocean, hiding them from any prying eyes. Eli slid from the dragon's back onto a branch that bent under his small weight but held firm enough for a safe landing. He looked up at the dragon, who rested on a rocky plateau, its golden eyes glowing faintly in the dimming light. "You need rest," Eli said softly, brushing dirt from his clothes. "I think we've escaped them, for now." The dragon let out a low, rumbling sigh, smoke curling from its nostrils. "Rest is welcome," it admitted. "But I cannot rest fully, not while danger lingers." Its voice, though soft, carried centuries of weariness and wisdom. Eli knelt beside it, pressing a hand gently against its rough scales. "We'll be careful," he said. "No one will hurt you." For a moment, silence fell, broken only by the distant rustling of the forest. Then the dragon spoke again, voice deeper, more resonant, carrying memories older than any living human. "You are not like the others," it said. "Most humans see dragons as monsters, or weapons, or treasure. You see more. You see trust, courage, hope." Eli blinked. I just want to help. That's all." He hesitated, glancing at the dragon's scarred body. "I don't even know how." The dragon's eyes softened, and for the first time, Eli saw something almost like warmth in them. "Then let me tell you a story," it said. "A story of dragons, of fire, of a time before humans ruled the lands." Eli's eyes widened. He had heard stories, but he had never heard a dragon speak of its own past. He sat cross-legged on the ground, leaning forward, listening. "Centuries ago, the dragon began. Dragons were many. Our fire shaped the mountains, warmed the rivers, and protected the skies. We were guardians, rulers, and teachers. Humans were few, weak, and scattered. Some sought our friendship. Most sought our destruction. And so conflict arose. Many dragons fell, others fled. I survived, not because of strength alone, but because I adapted, hid, and endured." Eli's breath caught. You've seen all of that? You've survived for centuries." The dragon nodded slowly. I have seen empires rise and fall, forests turn to deserts, rivers dry and return. I have watched countless humans forget our legends. Yet some remember. Some, like you, dare to believe. A sudden rustle in the trees made Eli jump. Shadows shifted and he tensed. The hunters could still be nearby. They could find us, he whispered. The dragon shook its massive head. Not here. This place is hidden. But even hidden, danger never fully leaves. That is why trust and courage matter more than strength. Eli swallowed, feeling a spark of understanding. You mean, we have to rely on each other? Yes, the dragon replied. You and I together. Our bond is ancient though not yet realized. There is power in your courage, human child. A power tied to your family though you do not yet know it. You are not here by chance. Eli's mind whirled. My family? What do you mean? The dragon lowered its head, brushing its massive snout gently near Eli's shoulder. Long ago, your ancestors were different. They walked the lands with dragons, not against us. They understood our ways, our needs. You carry a part of that blood, that connection. It is why you approached me without fear, why your courage rekindled the flame I thought lost. Eli's heart pounded. You mean, I'm special? The dragon's eyes glimmered with something like amusement. You are human, yes, small, fragile, easily broken. And yet, in you burns the same fire that once lit the skies. You have the courage to change the fate of dragons and humans alike. Eli felt a thrill of both fear and excitement. Could a small human like him really make such a difference? He glanced at the dragon, its wings folded, yet still massive and powerful. I want to help. I want to learn. The dragon's rumble turned into a soft, approving growl. Then you will learn and you will grow. But first, we must survive the night. It lifted its head, eyes scanning the shadows of the valley. The hunters are persistent. They will not stop easily. And there are others, creatures of the forest, drawn by weakness, by fire. We must be ready for anything. Eli nodded. He had already seen the hunter's cunning, and now he understood the dragon's caution. Then we'll stay alert. We'll watch each other's backs. The dragon inclined its massive head. Good. That is the first lesson. Trust is earned, but courage multiplies it. And there is more you must learn. Your heart, your mind, your spirit. These are weapons more powerful than claws or fire. Eli's eyes widened. Weapons? You mean, like fighting? Not only fighting, the dragon replied. Fighting is easy. Living, surviving, protecting what is dear, these are harder. Your courage will be tested, human child. And when the time comes, you must act, even when fear grips you. That is the essence of the bond we now share. The boy felt a strange warmth in his chest. Fear had been his constant companion in life, yet now it felt like a tool, sharpened by purpose. He realized that this dragon, so massive, so ancient, had placed trust in him. Not because he was strong, but because he was brave. Tomorrow, the dragon continued, we will move to higher ground. There, you will see more of the world I have hidden, and you will understand why we dragons must endure. You will face choices that will test everything you believe. And I will be by your side. But the courage must come from you. Eli nodded, absorbing every word. I'm ready. I'll do whatever it takes. The dragon lowered its head, brushing the boy gently with a massive forearm. Then rest for now. Strength is needed for the challenges ahead. But remember this. You have awakened a spark in me, a fire I thought lost to time. Together we will face whatever comes. And perhaps, just perhaps, we will change the fate of the world. As night fell, the valley grew quiet. Stars began to emerge, faint and shimmering, as though the heavens themselves were watching. Eli settled beside the dragon, feeling the warmth of its scales and the rhythm of its breathing. Sleep tugged at him, but his mind was alive with possibilities. The past of dragons, the hidden power in his own blood, and the future they would face together. The dragon lowered itself onto a patch of soft earth, closing its eyes, but keeping one half open, golden eye on the boy. Eli lay down beside it, small and fragile in comparison, yet feeling stronger than he had ever felt. For the first time in his life, he understood the weight of courage and trust, and the power of a bond that could span centuries. Somewhere deep in the forest, distant sounds hinted at dangers yet unseen. The hunters had not given up. Predators lurked. But for now, the dragon and the boy rested, united by an ancient bond that was only beginning to reveal itself. And in that quiet night, a spark of hope burned brighter than ever, an ember that would grow into a flame powerful enough to challenge fate itself. The first light of dawn crept over the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and gold. Mist rose from the valley, curling like silver ribbons around the dragon and Eli. The dragon stretched its wings slowly, testing its strength. Its body was still weak, muscles trembling from the previous flight, but there was a spark of life in its golden eyes, a spark that had not been seen for centuries. Eli knelt beside the dragon, watching it carefully. "You're stronger today," he said, brushing a few fallen leaves from its scales. "I think we can fly farther now." The dragon's nostrils flared, smoke curling lazily. "Yes," it said, voice low but steady. "I feel the fire returning. Your courage, it fuels me, little human." Eli felt a warmth spread through him. He realized that the bond between them was no longer just trust. It was mutual. The dragon's strength grew because of him, and his courage grew because of the dragon. Together, they were becoming something neither had been alone. The morning air was crisp, yet calm. But calmness was fleeting in their world. From the edge of the forest, dark shapes moved, hunters regrouping, cautious but relentless. Eli spotted them through a gap in the trees. "They're back," he whispered, "and they're bringing more." The dragon's wings flared instinctively, lifting its massive body into the air. "Then let them come," it rumbled. "We have survived much. We will survive this too. But you must stay ready. Fire is reborn today." Eli climbed onto the dragon's back, gripping tight as the giant creature spread its wings. With a powerful beat, they rose above the valley, leaving the hunters momentarily behind. Yet Eli could feel their determination from below, relentless and sharp. The dragon's eyes narrowed. "They think we are weak. They do not see the fire inside me, nor the courage inside you." As they flew, Eli studied the terrain below. Forests stretched wide, rivers wound like silver snakes, and mountains rose like ancient sentinels. "We need a safe place," he said. "Somewhere high, where they cannot reach us easily." The dragon nodded. "There is a ridge beyond the northern mountains. Hidden, untouched, a place where dragons once rested. There we will regain full strength." Its wings beat stronger now, fire flickering faintly from its throat as if tasting freedom. But danger was closer than they imagined. From behind, a new threat appeared, a massive airship, built by humans designed specifically to hunt dragons. Its engines roared like a thunderstorm, and weapons gleamed in the morning light. Eli's eyes widened. "It's huge," he shouted. "It's faster than the others." The dragon's growl rumbled through the air. "Yes, they have brought their most dangerous weapon. But they underestimate us. I have not yet breathed my true fire, and you have not yet tested your courage fully." Eli's hands tightened around the dragon's scales. "Then we'll show them." The airship surged forward, firing nets and energy beams. The dragon twisted mid-flight, avoiding the blasts. Sparks flew from nearby trees where stray fire touched the forest, and Eli felt the heat against his face. "We can't let it hit us," he shouted. "We have to move faster." The dragon's wings flared, beating with renewed strength. Fire danced along its jaw, flickering brighter than ever before. "Hold on," it roared. "I will fight." They swooped low over a river, the dragon's reflection shimmering on the water. Eli could feel the power coursing through its body, muscles recovering, wings flaring with strength. The airship followed, but the dragon's newfound agility allowed them to weave between cliffs and trees. Eli leaned forward, whispering encouragement. "Yes, keep going. We can do this. The dragon roared, the sound echoing across mountains and valleys. A battle cry of defiance and power. Fire sparked from its mouth, bright and alive, lighting the shadows below. The hunters and the airship reeled back, unable to match the dragon's raw speed and fire. But the battle was far from over. The airship's weapons were relentless, and more hunters were coming from the valley below. We need a plan, Eli shouted. We can't keep running forever. The dragon's eyes glimmered. Then we will fight. Fire reborn is no longer just a flicker. It is a storm. And you, little human, will guide it. Eli took a deep breath. We'll do it together, he said. You and me. The dragon roared, launching a stream of fire toward the advancing airship. Sparks and metal twisted as the flames struck, setting engines alight and forcing the hunters to retreat. The boy held tight, heart racing, as the dragon twisted and turned, dodging weapons while striking with precision. Every beat of its wings, every flame, was a message. They would not surrender. The airship faltered, struggling against the dragon's strength. Below, the remaining hunters shouted, realizing their prize was beyond reach. Eli's face lit with a mixture of fear and exhilaration. We're doing it, he shouted. We're really doing it. The dragon glanced at him mid-flight. Yes, courage and fire together. We are stronger than they believe. Its wings flared wide, carrying them higher, fire burning brighter along its scales and throat. The morning sun glinted off the dragon, making it appear larger than the mountains themselves. A legend reborn, unstoppable and magnificent. Eli felt a surge of pride and power. He had never felt so alive. He realized that bravery was not just fighting. It was standing, guiding, and protecting. And in this moment, he understood the full truth. He and the dragon were not just surviving. They were reclaiming their place in the world. The airship finally faltered, retreating with smoke trailing behind it. The hunters scattered, fleeing back to the valley, shaken and defeated. Eli exhaled, relief mixing with the thrill of victory. We did it, he shouted. The dragon lowered itself onto a high cliff, wings folding slowly. Its fire faded to a gentle glow, calm yet powerful. Fire reborn, it said quietly, and courage awakened. Eli climbed down, brushing dust from his clothes, and looked out over the valley. We're safe for now, but this is just the beginning, isn't it? The dragon nodded, eyes glimmering. Yes, tomorrow will bring new challenges. Others will come, stronger, more dangerous. But now we know our strength. Now we know the fire within us, yours and mine. Together, we are unstoppable. Eli smiled, heart still pounding. Then we'll be ready. No matter what comes, we'll face it together. Above them, the sky stretched endless and wide, a new day dawning. The fire within the dragon burned stronger, brighter, and Eli felt it too. The courage, the hope, the promise of battles yet to come. For the first time, both dragon and boy knew that their story was only beginning, and that together, they could face anything. The morning sun broke over the jagged peaks, casting long shadows across the valley below. The dragon stretched its wings, each movement measured and powerful. Fire flickered along its jaw, scales shimmering with renewed strength. Beside it, Eli adjusted his grip, feeling the wind rush past him as the world below became a blur. They had survived countless threats, outwitted hunters, and faced machines built to destroy legends. Yet Eli knew this was only the beginning. From the far horizon, a shadow moved, a massive fleet of human warships, larger and more formidable than any they had faced before. Engines roared and cannons gleamed, reflecting sunlight like a river of steel. This was not just a hunting party. It was an army, and their target was clear. The dragon growled, low and threatening, wings flaring in preparation. They have come, it said. The final challenge awaits. Are you ready, little human? Eli's heart pounded, but he did not hesitate. I'm ready, he said, voice steady despite the fear curling in his stomach. We can face them together. We have to. The dragon exhaled, fire flickering from its throat in a warning display. Then hold on tight. This will be the battle that defines us. They dove from the cliff, descending with terrifying speed toward the fleet. Cannons fired, energy beams streaking through the sky, but the dragon twisted and rolled, dodging each attack with uncanny precision. Sparks and explosions erupted behind them as ships tried to aim, but the dragon's agility made them look clumsy and weak. Eli leaned forward, shouting encouragement, his small hands gripping the dragon's scales. "We can do this. Don't stop now." The dragon's roar echoed across the battlefield, a sound that shook the sky itself. Fire poured from its jaws, striking the nearest warship with blistering heat. Metal melted, engines sparked, and the ship reeled back, smoke trailing from the damage. Eli felt the heat on his face but did not flinch. He had learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the choice to act despite it. The fleet surged forward, relentless. More ships fired, some launching mechanical harpoons designed to pin the dragon to the ground. The dragon twisted midair, wings flaring, fire sparking from its throat as it dodged and countered with precision. Eli shouted directions, pointing at weak spots and gaps in their formations. "Aim for the engines. You can do it." The dragon struck with brutal efficiency, its fire melting metal, ripping through cables, and sending ships crashing into one another. The fleet's formations broke apart as chaos spread. Eli's heart raced with each movement, each flicker of fire, each narrow escape. He realized they were no longer just surviving, they were fighting back, reclaiming their place in a world that had tried to erase them. Yet the leader of the fleet, a massive warship taller than any mountain cliff, moved forward with terrifying speed. Its weapons were larger, its armor stronger, and it seemed almost immune to the dragon's attacks. Eli's stomach flipped. "This one, it's different," he said, voice low. "It's stronger than the others." The dragon's eyes glimmered, golden and fierce. "Then we will face it together. This is the moment our bond proves itself. Courage, little human. Now is your time." Eli's hands tightened on the dragon's scales. He could feel the fire beneath him, raw and alive, and he realized that this battle was more than strength. It was strategy, trust, and instinct. "Let's show them what we can do," he whispered. With a powerful beat of its wings, the dragon surged forward, faster than the eye could follow. Fire erupted from its mouth, striking the massive warship's engines. Sparks flew, metal twisted, and the ship shuddered violently. The smaller fleet hesitated, unsure how to continue, and the hunters and engineers aboard the massive ship shouted in panic. Eli leaned forward, guiding the dragon, pointing at weak spots in the ship's armor. "Now, aim for the junctions between the engines. You can do it." The dragon twisted midair, flames lancing through the critical points. Explosions rocked the ship, and it groaned as it tilted dangerously. Eli felt the vibration under his hands, the heat on his face, the thrill of power and danger mixing into one. The massive warship faltered, smoke and sparks trailing as it began to descend. The smaller fleet scattered, fleeing or crashing into one another in their haste. For a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. The dragon hovered above the smoking battlefield, wings flaring, fire burning brightly along its throat and scales. Eli sat tall, chest heaving, eyes wide with exhilaration. They had done it. The fleet had been defeated. The dragon lowered its head, golden eyes softening as it looked at Eli. "You were brave," it said, voice deep and resonant. "Your courage has guided me, strengthened me. Together, we are unstoppable." Eli smiled, heart pounding. "We did it together." The dragon let out a triumphant roar, fire trailing into the sky, a signal of victory and power. The humans who had once feared or hunted dragons now had no choice but to witness the legend reborn. Eli realized something then. This was more than survival. This was a statement. Dragons were no longer alone, and humanity, if brave enough, could stand beside them. Below, the scattered remains of the fleet burned, smoke rising like pillars into the sky. Eli could see humans fleeing, shouting, and panicking. They would tell stories, remember the courage of one boy and the power of a dragon, and perhaps, in time, fear would turn to respect. The dragon lowered itself onto a cliff overlooking the battlefield, wings folding slowly. Eli climbed down beside it, looking out over the world they had defended. "Do you think they'll leave us alone now?" he asked, still breathing heavily. The dragon's eyes glimmered with pride and wisdom. "Perhaps for now, but others will come. There are always threats, yet we have proven ourselves. The fire within me burns brighter than ever, and the courage within you has awakened something that cannot be ignored." Eli nodded, understanding the weight of their victory. "Then we keep going. We protect each other, and we protect the world that needs us." The dragon lowered its massive head, brushing gently against Eli's shoulder. "You are not just a human child. You are a part of the legend now, and the legend will live on because of your courage." Eli smiled, feeling warmth spread through him. He had started as a small boy, curious and brave, but unsure of his place in the world. Now, he realized that courage, loyalty, and trust could change everything, even the fate of a legendary dragon. As the sun rose higher, lighting the valley and the mountains beyond, Eli climbed onto the dragon's back once more. Together, they soared into the open sky, free and unstoppable. Below, the world stretched vast and endless, full of challenges yet to come. But for the first time, both boy and dragon knew this. They were not alone. They had each other, and together, they were stronger than anything the world could throw at them. And so the legend lived on, not in fear, but in courage, in fire reborn, and in the unbreakable bond between a human boy and a dragon whose flames would never die again.